What is going on, guys? Nisky here, back with another Hockey Talk, and today we are releasing some bold predictions for the 2019-2020 NHL season. So I have 6 predictions here, and just note, these are bold predictions. These are not meant to be realistic predictions, so don't go too harsh. All right, number one. This one I don't think is all that bold of a prediction. I actually think it will happen. Pittsburgh misses the playoffs. So the reasoning is Phil Kessel has been traded this offseason, and so has Oli Mata. Those were two very key pieces to that team, and it seems like they just keep on getting older and slower in Pittsburgh. Brandon Tanev signed a really weird contract. I think that he'll help the organization, but I don't know that 6 years at $3.5 million a year is worth it for a guy that plays on the bottom pairing. Jim Rutherford is making some really bad and odd moves as general manager, which does not lead to good things for your roster. Mike Sullivan, I think, might be fired due to a slow start that Pittsburgh will have, and he is a good coach and one of the reasons that they made the playoffs last year, so I think that they're going to overreact with that. And then they were swept in the first round last season, which is a bad trend for teams in the NHL since 2000. I think it was the 2015 playoffs. Any team that has been swept in round one has failed to make the playoffs the following season. Number two, Edmonton wins the Pacific Division. Okay, why it could happen? They have the world's best hockey player in Connor McDavid. Leon Draisaitl actually just had a 50-goal season. Goalie Mike Smith was signed this offseason, which was one of their major weaknesses last year, and Mike Smith is one of the most solid, reliable goalies in the league. I wouldn't say that he's like an above-average goalie, but he is one of the guys where you know exactly what you're going to get. And Mikko Koskinen still did okay in 2018-19. And I think that having both of those goaltenders with competition in between them for the starting job will be good for the franchise as a whole. The Pacific is a weaker division than most of the NHL divisions, and Edmonton wants to prove to Connor McDavid why he signed his mega contract with the Oilers. They need to show him that they can win the division. All right, number three. Ottawa comes close, but does not clinch a wild card spot. Why might it happen? Connor Brown was added this offseason, and so was Nikita Zaitsev. I think that those are two very good moves. I like those two players. I really like Connor Brown. I'm a firm believer in Connor Brown, actually. Craig Anderson is still a solid goalie, and nobody's expecting much from Ottawa, so they may be underestimated and come out with a hot start that gets them ahead in the standings. And then when people realize that it's just the Senators with a few upgrades, then they'll start losing games more down the stretch after the All-Star break. But they'll come close, but not quite clinch. All right, number four. Ovechkin and Laine both break 60 goals. Why it could happen? They are both natural goal scorers. They both have great playmaking centers alongside them. Laine tends to play with Blake Wheeler, and then Ovechkin tends to either play with Nicholas Backstrom or Evgeny Kuznetsov, who are three great centers in the NHL. Both have lots of power play minutes where they can snipe from the circles on one-timers. Both need to prove what they're worth. I'm assuming Laine will probably get kind of a bridge contract due to his slow third year, and Ovechkin's going to be a UFA soon, so he needs to prove that he can still score. Ovechkin has eclipsed 60 goals in the past. That was the year where he tied with Steven Stamkos for the Richard. And then Laine really needs to show his third year was just a slump and not his entire career for the future. All right, number five, Tampa gets swept again. Okay, so what could happen? The Atlantic is a tough division. They will be facing a rough opponent in the first round of the playoffs. If they get second or third, they're most likely facing either Boston or Toronto. Even if they win the division, they're most likely playing a team like Florida or the Rangers, maybe. And then the Eastern Conference is just straight up better than the West, and that's what's kind of going alongside with the wild card situation. And even if they're a wild card, they're most likely playing the Islanders or the Capitals. I mean, that's still rough. So yeah, they're guaranteed a tough opponent. The group gets overconfident once they hit the playoffs. Nikita Kucherov will slow down from what he did last season because that was just unreal point scoring. And then the classic quote, "There's nothing like playoff hockey. You never know what to expect in the playoffs. Sometimes the team you least expect to do something will do something." And then finally, the boldest prediction for last, John Gibson wins the Hart Trophy as league MVP. So why it could happen? he will be the main reason of success if Anaheim makes the postseason. He is Anaheim's best player. He is consistently one of the league's best goalies in save percentage and goals against average. And he was the leader for the Hart at the quarter mark of the 2018-19 season before Anaheim completely imploded. If they had fired Randy Carlyle a bit earlier, he may have actually gotten a nomination for the Hart. He was just having that good of a season. And the way that ended up, once John Gibson started to slow down, the Ducks fell out of the playoff race. So that shows how important John Gibson is to Anaheim's success. So if you wanted them, there are your bold predictions for what will happen in the 2019-2020 NHL season. Thank you for watching Hockey Talk today. You can view the last Hockey Talk by clicking in the bottom right corner and subscribe by clicking to the left of my channel icon. See you guys next time. Nisky out.